The reading today is from 2 Kings, chapters 5, verses 1 through 14. Naaman healed of leprosy. Now Naaman was commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. He was a valiant soldier, but he had leprosy. Now bands of raiders from Aram had gone out and had taken captive a young girl from Israel, and she served as Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "If only my master would see the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." Naaman went to his master and told him what the girl from Israel had said. "By all means go," the king of Aram replied. "I will send a letter to the king of Israel." So Naaman left, taking with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of clothing. The letter that he took to the king of Israel read, "With this letter I am sending my servant Naaman to you so that you may cure him of his leprosy." As soon as the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his robes and said, "Am I God? Can I kill and bring back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be cured of his leprosy? See how he is trying to pick a quarrel with me?" When Elijah, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes, he sent him a message. "Why have you torn your robes? Have the man come to me, and he will know that he is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman went with his horses and chariots and stopped at the door of Elijah's house. Elijah sent a messenger to say to him, "Go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored, and you will be cleansed." But Naaman went away angry and said, "I thought that he would surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God, wave his hand over a spot, and cure me of my leprosy. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed?" So he turned and went off in a rage. Naaman's servants went to him and said, "My father, if the prophet had told you to do some great thing, would you not have done it? How much more than when he tells you, 'Wash and be cleansed'?" So he went down and dipped himself in the Jordan 7 times, as the man of God had told him, and his flesh was restored and became clean like that of a young boy. The word of the Lord.
Thanks. The Gospel according to Matthew, the 8th chapter.
Glory to you, O Lord.
When Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. "I am willing," he said. "Be clean." Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. The Gospel of our Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
You may be seated. So there was some discussion at the breakfast table as to the fact that I should give up doing my sermon and just talk about my trip. Well, I told them in answer to that, my sermon would be doubled now. So you might as well get comfortable. It's all whose fault? Uh-huh. Romans 8:28, who knows what that is? You're going to know it as soon as I say it. Romans 8:28. Say it louder. I hear you. She's not talking. All things work together for the good in them, for them that love the Lord. How many times have you heard that? I've heard that all the time. Every time something bad happens, somebody has to remind me. All things work together for good. Have you ever been in a situation where you went, "Oh, yeah, right"? Not this time. Ever? Ever felt that way? No, I'm the only one. Are you alive? Are we awake? Are we here? Okay, much better. Much better. Do you know who the hero in this story about Naaman is, as far as I'm concerned? Yeah. It's this girl. Now, band of raiders from Aram had gone out and had taken captive a young girl from Israel. I'm going to tell you, if they came and they took me captive and they made me a servant to some dude's wife, I would not be a very nice person. I would probably be very irritated, may even want to find means of revenge, vindictive, angry, maybe depressed. But she's not. When she hears that he needs help, she brings a suggestion of how to find healing. Now that's pretty good. I mean, for me, probably I wouldn't do anything nasty. Probably what I would do is just not tell anybody and just step back and say, I know how you could get healed, but I ain't going to tell you. But she doesn't. She has an attitude about her that knows that whatever happens in life, God can make it into good. She has an open attitude to God, an open ear to receive where God is leading, and a humility to say yes, even in the situation of having been captured by this troop of guys and being put into slavery. She receives even that situation as something that could be good, or that something that could come out of. And as I'm talking about this, I want to make sure you understand, I am not saying that God caused her to be in slavery. I really want to specify that. But I'm saying that whatever situation comes to us in life, God can use if we allow. So she tells him about where to get healed, where to get rid of this horrible disease. Then you have the king of Israel. How well does he do? He's all about me. He's come to fight with me. It's all about me. I know this Naaman came to pick a fight with me. Oh no, what am I going to do? How can I heal him? It wasn't about the king at all. But his attitude. What was the attitude? It wasn't one that was open to God. It wasn't one that was willing to listen. It wasn't one that was going to say, this is a really uncomfortable situation, but God can use it. Instead, he was frantic and upset. Oh no, it's all about me. Help me, help me, help me. And it wasn't. So when the prophet heard this, that's what he did. He said, hey, it's not about you. It's about God, and that there is a prophet of God in this nation. Send him my way. So next we have Naaman. How well does Naaman do with the situation he's given? No humility there. I'm too good to go wash in that river. What are you doing? You didn't even come out and see me. You sent your servant. How dare you? He's not hearing God. He's not hearing that, Naaman, there's healing for you. I'm here to give you healing. He's not there receiving. Okay, God, this isn't the most comfortable situation, but I receive your healing however you choose to give it to me. Once again, it's all about Naaman, isn't it? How dare you treat me that way? I'm better than that. And now the other servants. How did they do? And I do want an answer this time. You guys are way too quiet. How did they do? Really well. Exactly. They're servants. They are servants. How much more humble can you get? They are servants. How many of you have ever had an employer that you just didn't like and you didn't want to do anything nice for them? Would you have told them, go dip in the water and you will be cleansed? No. No, I agree. I wouldn't either. You would have held them under. Exactly. But the servants did. They were open to God. God had something for Naaman that he wanted to do. And they were open to give the word to Naaman, to step up, to be humble, and to have an attitude of servitude. an attitude that could bring healing to another human being. So how do you get to that point? I mean, I don't know about you, but I get frantic if I'm in a bad situation. You guys have seen me there. I get frantic. Sometimes I get rather loud. I get rather difficult. I know I do. So what do we do at that point? I'm not listening when I'm like that. Well, that's where the gospel comes in. It's amazing how wonderful it came together. When Jesus came down from the mountainside, he brought healing. Don't forget, Jesus was divine. He was also 100% human. That means he got frantic, he got upset, he got ticked off, he got tired, he had had enough. But he knew where to go to get his attitude back to being one that's open to God. He went on the mountainside, and it doesn't say that he prayed, but I'm sure that's what he was up there doing. Up on the mountainside, quiet with God, being humble, saying, I'm not going to be able to do this, God, without you. Help me. And with that attitude, he was able to come down and bring healing to the masses. It's all about how willing we are to be open. Let me read you a piece of Romans 8 from the Message. Meanwhile, the moment we get tired in the waiting, God's Spirit is right alongside, helping us along. If we don't know how or what to pray, it doesn't matter. He does our praying in and for us, making prayers out of our wordless sighs, our aching groans. He knows us far better than we know ourselves. He knows our pregnant condition and keeps us present before God. That's why we can be so sure that every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good. Every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good. No matter how bad it looks, no matter how difficult it is, God can make it into something good. So what does this have to do with All Saints' Day? Well, I can tie that in real easily. I think most of the ones that we know that we would think of as saints, they learned this. They knew this. They had found this in life. I don't know a single person that I would call a saint, and I know we are all saints, but I don't know a single person that I would hold in that special spot in my life that didn't go through, crap. Not a single one. And they all learned that out of manure grows some of the most beautiful plants in this world. They all learned that whatever happens in your life, if you are willing to let God do what God needs to do, can make it beautiful. An old man and his grandson were walking along one day, and he says, "My son, there is a battle between two wolves inside all of us. One is evil. It is anger, jealousy, greed, resentment, inferiority, lies, and ego. The other is good. It is joy, peace, love, hope, humility, kindness, empathy, truth." The boy thought about this for a moment, and he looked at his grandfather and he said, "Well, Grandpa, which one wins?" His grandfather looked at him and he said very simply, "The one that you feed." Amen.